What's up, YouTube? Today I'm here to tell you all about the Beatles singles you've never heard. And no, I'm not talking about Old Brown Shoe, the 1969 B-side to the Ballad of John and Yoko, or You Know My Name, the 1970 B-side to the immensely popular Let It Be. No, in fact I'm here to talk to you about the Beatles singles released in the 1990s, if you can believe it. These had all four members musically coinciding on new tracks for the first time since early 1970. You might say, how is this possible? John Lennon tragically passed away in 1980. Stay tuned and you'll find out. Following John's private departure from the group in September of 1969, and Paul's much more public departure in April of 1970 to announce his own eponymous album, McCartney, which would release a mere 3 weeks before the Beatles' Let It Be, many believed the Beatles, as we knew them, were through. Some stayed hopeful, but most accepted the fact that our beloved Fab Four were no more. After John's death in 1980, all hope was lost. This all changed, though, in 1989, when Yoko Ono and the three surviving Beatles got together to craft the Beatles Anthology, a 3-album retrospective on everything Beatles, accompanied by a television special. This would be a story of the Beatles told by the Beatles themselves. They faced minimal concern with the popularity of the album once it was to be dropped. In the past fifth of a century, every single Beatles release still resulted in incredible masses of crowds come drop day. Finding the material proved a bit of a challenge, with the group having to reach out to Beatles historians in order to find high-quality versions of the group's recordings in the pre-1962 days, specifically a 1958 recording of That'll Be the Day by the Quarrymen. Most of the material proved rather easy to find, as the Abbey Road archives had held the material in mint condition since the 1960s. Back to our topic, it was suggested that the Beatles record new material to accompany these 3 50-song each album releases. However, the surviving Beatles found it sacrilegious to record new material without John. Such a feat seemed impossible, until one day, Yoko Ono showed up with a handful of unreleased demos John had created in the late 70s. These included Free as a Bird, which John wrote and recorded in 1976 after receiving his green card from the United States, after a hard-fought battle to do so, and Real Love, which John recorded in the latter half of the 1970s, time he spent playing the part of house husband and releasing little to no new material. Most other demos were deemed unusable in the process of creating new tracks, as most, if not all, were recorded in incredibly low quality. The surviving Beatles found it near impossible to remove some of the track's features, instruments and the such, so they simply added onto them. They were, however, able to remove much of the demo's scratchiness with the help of sound engineer Jeff Emmerich, and once they had the underlying demos as perfect as they could be, they began recording the new tracks as if it was 1968 and John had showed up to Abbey Road with new material. The end results were Free as a Bird, released as a single on the 4th of December 1994, alongside Anthology 1, and Real Love, released on the 4th of March 1996 as a single alongside Anthology 2. Free as a Bird topped at number 2 on the UK singles chart and number 6 on the US Billboard's Hot 100, and Real Love topped at number 4 on the UK singles chart and number 11 on the US Billboard Hot 100. Free as a Bird was the Beatles' final top 10 release on the US Billboard Hot 100. Now, the Beatles released 3 anthology albums, so you may be asking, where's the new single for Anthology 3? The track was in fact worked on by the surviving Beatles, but they decided to scrap it shortly following a comment by Harrison that it was rubbish, and that he was out of here. It was to be titled Now and Then, and would have, obviously, released alongside Anthology 3 in late 1996. Now, I'm personally a big fan of these tracks, and the music videos released to accompany them, with Free as a Bird serving as a well-animated, reference-filled video, and Real Love, filled with footage from the anthology sessions and interlaced with footage of the Beatles from their heyday in the 1960s, as well as footage of John and Yoko, for whom the track was likely written. If you'd like to hear these tracks yourself, I've included links to their music videos in the description below. Like and subscribe for more video essays to come. Thanks for watching!